Welcome to the Stop Down Photography Podcast, episode 20. I'm your host, Scott Davenport. Today's topic is why do we make a photo? Hi everyone, welcome. Thanks for joining me, spending a few minutes of your day with me. I hope you're staying safe, finding health, taking care of yourself. Today's topic was prompted really by the COVID-19 pandemic. My experience got me thinking about this topic, so I wanted to share it with you. If you enjoyed today's podcast, please tell a friend, and if you can rate and review on Apple Podcasts, that would be fantastic. So a lot of us can't make the photos we want to make right now. That's definitely true for me. We're shelter in place, we're quarantined, we're under lock and key in a lot of areas. It's starting to open up, but it's still it's kind of a different world. As I record this, I'm well into my 9th week of no landscape work. I basically haven't picked up my camera in more than 2 months, which is an eternity for me. I would typically do 2 location shoots a week, sometimes more. All of that just stopped, and I think that's a similar situation for many of you. Now, I do think I'll have a burst of photo activity as soon as it's safe again to go out and make photos. I hope the same will be true for you. But here's the thing that's been kind of nagging at me. I'm somewhat getting used to this dry spell. And I wonder, am I growing complacent? Will the inertia be harder to overcome with each week that goes by? Is it going to be harder and harder? So these questions have been bouncing around in my mind, and it led me down a path to a fundamental question. Why do I make photos? Staying inside has certainly been easier. I've been sleeping a little later in the mornings. I haven't had to drive hours to go capture a few minutes of light. I've been more comfortable. I'm reminded of an article I wrote a few years ago, 5 Reasons Landscape Photographers Have a Screw Loose. I'll put a link in the show notes, but it's things like that. We invest a lot of time for these fleeting moments and sacrifice sleep, food, comfort to make our work happen. Well, during this 9-week hiatus for me, I've been a lot more comfortable. So what's the point? Why do this in the first place? Why even bother making a photo? I think a common response to that question, why do you make photos, is we want to express ourselves in some artistic way, and photography is our chosen medium. And that's true, no doubt. But is it more? We want to express ourselves. What's motivating that? Why do we want to express ourselves? And I think it comes down to answering this question honestly. What do you seek from photography? The answer is a little bit different for each of us. For example, you could be looking for accolades or maybe fame. There's nothing wrong with that. It feels good when people like your work. Although I suspect for most of us, fame and fortune is not the motivator. Do you seek a connection to something or someone? Maybe you started photography because of a family member or a close friend. Does the act of taking pictures make you feel more connected with that person? Maybe you're a people person. Photography becomes a means to create a connection with others, and a good portrait photographer will connect with their subjects. Or maybe you feel a bond with a certain town, a local park, a forest, the mountains. Capturing its beauty or its essence brings you closer to it. I feel that way about the ocean. I've always held a fondness for the ocean, long before photography, and my photography has brought me closer to the ocean. Perhaps photography is a therapeutic endeavor. Time with the camera is a calming time, a relaxing time. Photography may be a counterbalance to the frenetic pace of life or the demands of a difficult job. Working with your camera lowers your stress, and there's some science to back that up, but I like the way Pablo Picasso puts it. The purpose of art is washing the dust of daily life off our souls. Man, that is a great way of looking at art, looking at photography. one may seek rejuvenation or revitalization through photography. For me, I seek an experience. I talked about this some in episode number 8, Photography is to Savor, Not Conquer. The camera is a conduit. It's a means to have an experience. Each photo outing becomes its own little adventure, and it doesn't need to be grand or epic. Experiences can be large, they can be small, but either way, it's there, and that's what I seek from photography, an experience. And the great thing is how I look at it, there's byproducts of that experience too. My time with the camera is therapeutic. Visiting and capturing a landscape does form a connection to it, or deepens an existing connection. And from time to time, I receive an accolade, a thumbs up, a virtual high five. So why do we make a photo? Figure out what it is you seek from photography, and you will easily and earnestly answer that question. I want to thank the members on Patreon. Thank you again for your support. It's what makes this podcast possible. The month of May is Ask Me Anything month. You got a photo question, any topic dealing with photography, even tangentially. It could be camera work, it could be post-processing, it could be weather tracking, it could be business related. Anything with a photo angle, ask away. Hope to hear from you soon. If you're interested in learning more about the Patreon community, check the show notes, and there's a support the show button on all the pages of Stop Down Podcast where you can learn more. That wraps up this week's episode, a short one, but hopefully a thought-provoking one. Think about what you seek from your photography. It's been illuminating for me to do that, and I hope that it will be for you as well. If you enjoyed today's podcast, please tell a friend. This is the first time you're listening. Thanks for giving me a shot. And you can find previous episodes on stopdownpodcast.com, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. Until next time, my name's Scott Davenport. Have fun.